So, the start of this 10-lap Howard Printing Sidecar Challenge, just a few seconds away. They're under starters' orders. They've been told to kill engines. And what a talented front row we've got. Steve Webster, the closest to us. Derek Bailey in the middle, and Barry Brindley on the other side. Steve Abbott on the second row, the great outfit number 5. Well, he's had some excellent races in the early meetings so far this season. And Mick Bobbiss and Chaz Burks as well, of course. Talented man as well. So a good entry, not so many outfits, but certainly lots of star quality. And number 4, Barry Brindley, closest to us, as I was saying. In the middle is Derek Bailey, and furthest away from us is Steve Webster. This is 10 laps. The track beginning to dry out for this particular race. They've been told to watch the traffic light starts. They're pushing now. And who's going to fire up first? It's Bailey. Derek Bailey, outfit number 3, getting away very well indeed. And Webster, at the moment, the man who would be my favourite to win this one, in 5th place as they go into Redgate for the first time. And the leaders through Redgate, there is Webster in the 5th spot. Derek Bailey out in front, 39 years of age, from Folkestone. In 2nd spot at the moment is Dave Hallam. He's one of the local boys, a TT winner last year in the Isle of Man. And Dave Hallam going very well indeed. Bailey, the man out in front.
This track is wet and slippery, so these outfits are going to be sliding around quite a lot, but it's a lot easier to save an outfit when it starts to slide than it is a solo. So although we should see some excitement, these gentlemen should be able to keep the outfits on the road. And a retirement early on for outfit number 12, Stuart Rich, as the leaders come into the S's for the first time. Bailey in the lead. Oh, and somebody went straight on. Who was the man who overshot there, and he's trying to turn that long outfit round. That's one of the problems with the old LCRs, Peter. You can't turn it around so easily. No, you have to get out and push them backwards and forwards, so the rider will remain in it to do the steering, and the passenger has all the work, and you have to do about a 3 or a 5 point turn to get that turned around. So he's really well out of the running now.
So a bad mistake there for Barry Brindley at the start of this race. Derek Bailey shaking that LCR in the lead. In 2nd place is number 5, Steve Abbott. 3rd is number 1, Steve Webster. Bailey then from Abbott. Steve Abbott back in racing after finding a new sponsorship deal. He looked for a while as if he was going to be out of racing.
Yes, he really has got a new lease of life as Steve Abbott, now in 2nd place, because they've got a brand new Windle outfit that they say is working very, very well, as we now look back to the 3rd place man, Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt, who are the pair who are fastest in practice.
So the race leaders, Derek Bailey, going through, being chased and chased hard by Steve Abbott, sponsored by Hamilton Motorcycles up in the northeast of England for a time, but they fell by the wayside, and into the rescue came Paget's. So Derek Bailey from Folkestone in the lead. Steve Abbott from Riddings in Derbyshire, a local boy. Outfit number 5 in 2nd spot.
And Abbott could be setting himself up for a passing manoeuvre at the end of the straight here. You'll expect to see him pull out of the slipstream as he does, look for a way down the inside. Not quite do it, ducks back in behind the leader.
And these outfits going into the new S section very quick indeed, but getting closer and closer is the man in 3rd place, and that is Steve Webster, arguably Britain's best sidecar racer, and the man that I believe is going to bring the sidecar world title back to Britain. He's in 3rd place at the moment, chasing Bailey and Abbott. But this man, here in your picture now, a very talented, intelligent, articulate young man, passengered by Tony Hewitt, and they're getting closer and closer. They made a bit of a mess at the start. The outfit didn't fire up cleanly, And Steve Webster closing the gap, yard by yard. Passenger Tony Hewitt tucks in behind. Viewers may remember seeing this crew crash in spectacular fashion at the Dutch TT last year when they were leading the race. They slid off the race onto the wet grass and then went into reverse into the huge water ditch. And there goes Webster in splendid style through on the inside of Steve Abbott, and up into second place goes Webster.
And it may well be that Abbott has some sort of problem, because he was right up behind the leaders, Derek Bailey, and now dropped back, and you saw quite easily passed by Steve Webster, who now has his sights set on the leader, Bailey.
And in fact, Sean Smith, Steve Abbott's passenger, appeared to be looking down, looking at the engine of the Peugeot Yamaha, but whatever it is, it's not that serious, because they're only a few yards behind in third place. And Webster now has his eyes firmly fixed, and he goes through on the inside, and there's that classic overtaking manoeuvre. He just slots his way in front, and Bailey can do nothing about it, or can he? Bailey looks for the inside line, and Bailey winds on the power and says, no, no, my friend, you don't go past that well, that easily. But Webster is still looking for a place to pass. Bailey has regained the lead just when he looked as though Webster was going to do it. They slide the outfits round onto the exit of Melbourne hairpin. Bailey the leader, Webster outfit number 1 in second place, and Steve Abbott there in third spot.
And it can't be overstressed how important the passenger is. You see Hewitt hanging his backside well over the inside of the machine just to allow his rider to get the power on early so he doesn't lift that inside wheel. And now the passenger has to be aware of what the rider might be trying to do as Webster goes up the inside and takes the lead once more.
Yeah, Webster goes inside, Bailey's back on the inside again. Bailey's got that inside line. He's managing to measure every overtaking manoeuvre that Stevie Webster can do. And it's Derek Bailey, the 39-year-of-age sidecar driver from Folkestone, passengered by Brian Nixon. And Webster goes through again. And once again, Bailey tries to go back. But this time, Webster's got the margin. Oh, and he just slides across the front of Bailey's outfit. Well, some classic overtaking manoeuvres for all of that lap, Peter.
Yes, absolutely great stuff from both riders there. Webster going into the corners very, very fast, but as a result, he's sliding wide, and Bailey just letting him slide across his nose and then come back underneath him again.
Well, I think Bailey's got the quicker outfit, which you'll see down the back straight, whether I'm right. Bailey right in the slipstream of Webster, he pulls out. No, he doesn't. Nixon, oh, they almost touch. Oh, my goodness gracious me. And Bailey made a mistake. Because he almost touched Webster, he got into big trouble then, Peter.
Yes, he did. He tried the out-braking manoeuvre, decided that he was going to go back behind Webster, but then that was the point at which Webster braked and so nearly smashed right into the back of the outfit and just jerked the steering of the outfit to turn around him. Very, very lucky and very, very good bit of driving to avoid the accident there, but that rather leaves us with the race over, because Webster now has a very, very handy advantage over the second place man, Steve Abbott.
Well, it looks as though Bailey may well have managed to restart in third spot. We'll see in a moment. This is the end of the fourth lap. 6 more laps to go. Webster the leader, Steve Abbott in second place.
It really was getting more and more hectic as both men fought for the same piece of road, and I suppose something had to give, and that was where it happened.
Well, it isn't all over, because Bailey is in third place. He must have spun that outfit round like a little dodgem, because he's got back on the racetrack doubly quick, and Bailey's there in third place. We'll get the stopwatch on him at the end of the next lap, and we'll see what the gap is. There is the race leader.
And the one way to turn these outfits around very, very quickly, as you say, Chris, is to spin them. He would have had to have held the front brake on, sort of spun the rear wheel and slid that round and hoped the passenger could stay in a very tricky manoeuvre. But we're now watching Steve Abbott in his new Windle outfit, looking to see if he has any chance of closing on the leader, Steve Webster.
That is outfit number 5, Steve Abbott and Sean Smith. They've been pressurising Steve Webster in the Shell Oil's Transnational Series.
And all of these very, very long, low outfits now have the engine behind the rider and just in front of the rear wheel to keep the weight in the right place.
There is the third place man, Derek Bailey, so he's definitely got the gap. He can see those two outfits in front of him. There is the third place man, one-time race leader Derek Bailey. We know his outfit is very, very fast indeed. And there is Bailey in third place.
But he really must be cursing his luck. He had several seizures and an ignition failure in the last couple of days, and he's really had a lot of problems. Threw together a very, very second-hand engine that he didn't expect to be fast for this race. It looked to be fast, and then he threw it all away with nearly crashing into the back of Webster's outfit.
The halfway stage then, the race leader going into Redgate, and there you can see behind the second place man Abbott, and here comes the third outfit, Bailey. So Bailey's got an awful lot of work to do. 11.25 seconds, and that is an awful lot of time, but he's got 5 laps to do it in.
I certainly think we can see him catch up the second place man. He was significantly quicker than Abbott earlier on and was pulling away from him when he was leading the race. So he's certainly going to be able to challenge for second, I think. Whether he can catch the lead is another thing.
And the leader lapping in about 1 minute 52 seconds, and the existing sidecar lap record set in August when this new circuit was open of 1:55.77. So the lap record has been smashed, I would say, virtually on every lap of this race. There is the second place man, Steve Abbott, with his passenger Sean Smith. And really, even if Bailey can't catch the leader, I would think Abbott's position must be a little bit at risk.
Definitely think so. Of course, there's conditions as we watch the leader, number one, Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt, changing all the time as the track dries out, and the rider's got to be able to feel how much quicker he can go. And if we watch the passenger for a bit, you can judge for yourself just how tricky his manoeuvres are. Everything's timing for the passenger. And I was talking to Tony Hewitt, he said as you come over the brow there, he just gets up suddenly out of the crouch position and gets over the rear wheel so that the rider can apply the power without the back wheel sliding. Now he's back down into the crouch position, waiting, coming up over another brow to the left-hand hairpin. Gets ready, very important to keep the inside wheel on the ground. He just manages to do it before tapping down out of the wind again to go down the straight.
Webster and Hewitt, the race leaders, looking to go round the outside, then having to change their mind because in their way was Neil Smith, and outfit number 14 is being lapped by this Yorkshire duo.
And this is perhaps the hardest part of the circuit because the passenger's right over the rear wheel, and suddenly for the very, very fast left hand has to hang right out to one side, then back across for another fast right-hander.
Well, the gap between the race leader, this man, Stevie Webster, and the third place man, Derek Bailey, at the moment just over 15 seconds, and the gap between the second place man, Steve Abbott, and third place man, Derek Bailey, is about 7 seconds. So no chance, I think, losing ground on the leader, but he might catch Abbott.
There you can see Hewitt hugging the back of the machine, all that weight over the rear tyre. He said this new chicane that they're just approaching was very, very tricky because you couldn't see the curving as they approached, and that's the second place man, Steve Abbott.
In your picture, just on the right, going into the S's is Steve Abbott, and any second now will arrive Derek Bailey. There's a slapped man, and there is Bailey trying so hard, just behind the sort of glimpse of that red and yellow leathers of Bailey, and Brian Nixon trying very hard. They will be bitterly regretting that mistake. They managed to salvage, prevent a near disaster, because if they'd have hit Steve Webster at sort of speed, it really would have been a nasty moment. But the price they paid for that was to lose their braking point, and they went straight on up that slip road, and Bailey now has to work so hard, and so too is his passenger Brian Nixon.
These outfits outfits all using the 500cc Yamaha engine, just as they do at the Grand Prix. All these first three outfits are Grand Prix machines that will be challenging for this year's World Championship.
And it looks as though, in fact, that Bailey has lost ground in his battle to catch Steve Abbott as well. Almost 10 seconds now, 9.6 seconds gap between him on the Road Shuttle Yamaha outfit. Derek Bailey, British champion, former British champion. Very, very talented man. He does have so much bad luck, though. Sometimes the wretched outfit won't start properly when he tries to get away. He's had some awful starts through that. And now he's got a self-imposed handicap after that mistake. And Ryan Dixon has a wave to the camera. Well, certainly the pair have put their all into this race. They've tried so hard. And Bailey, a man who will be going out and doing his bit in the World Championships this year. And if only he can get some good starts in that, Peter, he could have some good results there.
Yes, I think all these first three outfits are capable of finishing on the top three at a Grand Prix. They just need a bit of luck, a little bit of extra money for the right engine equipment, which of course now has come Steve Webster. He has the right kit to do very, very well, and the other two needed as well. But we're back with the leader now. Number one, Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt.
8 laps completed, 2 more laps to go then for Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt. And Tony Hewitt, would believe, was originally just a stand-in passenger. Steve Webster's brother was his original crewman in his early racing days. Then they had a bit of an accident. Steve's brother broke his leg. Tony Hewitt stepped in as a temporary replacement, and he's been there all the time.
And now watch this little bit of the track, because in a moment I think you'll see Tony Hewitt duck down so far that he can't even see where he's going. There he is. Now that requires that he knows exactly where they are on the circuit and is just counting his timing so he can pick his head up at the right moment and climb over the back of the outfit, not even looking where they were travelling for a brief moment there. Just keeping himself as low as possible behind the fairing to cut down the wind resistance.
Tony Hewitt, 35 years of age from Selby, and 26 years of age Steve Webster, the driver. Steve's father, Nigel Webster, was a British grass track champion, and going well on three wheels is something that comes naturally to the Webster family, I think. 6 seconds or thereabouts the gap between Webster and Abbott in first and second place. And as I keep emphasising, and I make no apologies for emphasising it, I really do think that Steve Webster has an excellent chance of being sidecar world champion, if not this year, then next.
And this outfit, a real mark of international cooperation. The engine, the Yamaha, made in Japan, but with Hummel cylinders made in Austria, and finally tuned by Fowlers of Bristol. The chassis is made in Switzerland by Louis Christian, and the tyres are Avon, made in Britain. So all put together makes a very competitive package.
Well, in fact, Avon's re-emergence as a top-class tyre company has stemmed from their involvement in sidecar racing. They've gone extremely well indeed in the past few years. Rolf Billand amongst the people who've been using their outfits, their tyres on their outfits. And Avon technology to the forefront as Steve Webster hurtles round on this final lap of this Howard Printing Sidecar Challenge.
If you can imagine the amount of work that both Webster and particularly Tony Hewitt, the passenger, are doing, and consider that this is a very short race by Grand Prix standards, they'll have to keep up this amount of effort against even more competitive opposition for a full sort of 3/4 of an hour.
And that, of course, puts a tremendous amount of strain and pressure, not just on the driver and the passenger, but on the engine and the rest of the cycle parts as well. Sidecar racing now, the technology has moved on probably faster than in solo racing. And to be a winner, you need a good team, a good outfit, and a good engine. And we have all those qualities in this pair. Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt coming round. The checkered flag is ready. Steve Webster is going to win it. No problem at all. We wait for the second place outfit to come along. Still being Steve Abbott and Sean Smith. There they go. Steve Abbott and Sean Smith. And in just a few seconds' time, it'll be the third place men. There they are, number 3, Derek Bailey and Brian Nixon. So Webster the winner, Steve Abbott in second place, and Derek Bailey in third.